Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalrin. Recently I've been playing Windwalker Monk in Warlords of Draenor, and I feel like I'm getting better at him. I'm definitely nowhere close to being rank 1 at Monk, let alone any higher rated, but I still want to make a guide explaining you guys how to play the Monk from my personal experiences, maybe give you guys some tips and tricks in terms of PvP, get the very basics down. Not gonna go too in-depth on it because I feel like I'm not the best person to tell you about Monk, but if you are planning on playing a Windwalker Monk, I just want to be able to fill you guys in on some of the basics you'll want to learn before you get into it. Let me first get the very basics down. Stats. You go for versatility, stack versatility, then haste, then multi-strike equals to crit, and then mastery. So you want to get versatility enchants on your rings, neck, and cloak, and you want to get haste weapon proc enchant for your weapons. Second thing is you want to get yourself a two-hander weapon. The reason because with a two-hander weapon, the monk gets more auto attacks. More auto attacks means a higher chance for you to get Tiger Strikes buff, which increases your multi-strike by a lot. While multi-strike isn't a good stat in terms of PvP in WoW for most classes, but for monks, we're having that extra multi-strike means every time you burst, there's a way higher chance that your burst will also multi-strike, allowing you overall more damage when you're trying to kill your target. These are my basic talents, and I've had people tell me try this talent, try that talent, try this build, try that other build, but this one is the one that seems to work for me. I'll keep referring back to these talents to explain you guys why I use them for certain situations, but this is probably the best build out there that you can have for your monk in most cases. The reason I run Chi Brew and Chi Explosion in a combo because you can use it as an opener. Pop 2 stacks of Chi Brew to gain stacks of Tiger's Eye Brew as well as Chi, and then use whatever Chi you generate off of that for Chi Explosion to generate even more Tiger's Eye Brew, allowing you to burst a lot faster as a monk instead of having to ramp up. When it comes to rotation or sustained damage, a lot of people get confused and freak out, but basically what you're trying to do is generate some chi using your jab or expel harm if you're going to be taking damage or are taking damage, and then get yourself a Tiger Palm up to go through opponent's 30% armor, as well as a Rising Sun kick up, in order to make sure you deal to the target 20% more damage and reduce the healing that they get. This is extremely important when you're attacking healers, and basically you should be able to get both of those up before you go through any burst of your rotation. You should consider using Chi Torpedo as a damaging ability, and it has one of the hardest hitting abilities that Windwalker monks have. You do lose on a roll, but in most cases the damage really does outweigh the roll. Now the question is, how do people use Chi Torpedo without moving anywhere? Most people say just jump and use Chi Torpedo. I actually, with my MS, I use Chi Torpedo and then a jump in a really mechanical fashion where it's just torpedo jump, torpedo jump, torpedo jump on my keyboard. You guys will just have to play around when you're playing your monks. And I think the Chi Torpedo jump depends on MS. I think the higher your MS is, then you need to use Torpedo, then jump. If your MS is lower, you can jump, then Torpedo. Next question a lot of people ask is, what is your burst macro? And mine is very simple. Use Tiger's Eye Brew and then use 13, which is the top slot of my trinket. Instead of use 13 or 14, you can just use and then type in the name of your trinket or copy paste the name. And it's a really easy burst macro. Before burst, make sure you have a couple brews stacked up, your Tiger's Palm, your Rising Sun. And this is one of the first burst rotations I have, is to start with paralysis. Pop your burst, then you line up a Chi burst into fists, and basically just let fists bang up on your target. There's a lot of different ways to burst as a monk, and some include more, some include less, and I just want to show you guys different types of bursts. This was the easy burst that you can line up in an opener. The next burst rotation simply builds up on it. Again, you start with paralysis, then you pop your stacks into a Chi burst, into then a leg sweep, and you get 2 torpedoes off. Again, make sure you don't move while the torpedoes are up, because you want to make sure you jump in the air. Make sure you have 3 stacks of Chi up, and then you roll into your target with full fists. In most cases for battlegrounds and arenas, if you're looking to force the trinket out of the enemy, you start off your rotation with a leg sweep. Most people are going to choose not to set a 5-second CC, so most of them will trinket. Afterwards, you basically have to kite, run away, use paralysis, basically keep the enemy at bay up until your leg sweep is back up, and then you can always line up on the enemy with paralysis into a full burst. Playing a Windwalker in terms of setup and rotation is a lot like playing a subtlety rogue. They will feel very similar. Another interesting fact to remember is you can use Rising Sun Kick and Chi Torpedo together in a single opener. I haven't really found a way for me to capitalize on using both of these abilities together, but that is something for you guys to remember maybe when you aren't able to get as much burst as possible in a single stun, so you can kind of just cheat around it by putting two abilities together in one. The glyphs I end up running in most cases are Touch of Karma, in order to make sure your karma can reach the target you're trying to touch, especially if they're ranging you. Touch of Death to make sure I don't need Chi in order to score a kill on my target. And Paralysis so I can either CC a target, making sure the CC doesn't break, or using Paralysis on a target to make sure they're locked down in place, and so the Paralysis doesn't break, make sure to get the glyph in order to hold the enemy in place. So this is everything I have for you guys in order to get you guys started on playing Windwalker Monk. Again, remember, I'm not the greatest Windwalker Monk, I'm not rated with Windwalker Monk, but from playing my rogue and then transitioning into Monk, learning a bit about Monk, these are the things that I learned. This video is literally designed to help you guys started playing your Monk, give you guys all the basic PvP tips that all the high rated players use, talk to you guys about the PvP build that the higher rated players use as is, just to get you guys caught up as we enjoy whatever we have amount of time left in Warlords of Draenor, just while waiting for Legion. Hope that you guys did enjoy this video. My name is Dalrin, and I'll see you guys in the next one.